As a disclaimer, this is 100% true. I've been wanting my story to be public because, honestly, I'm scared, and I'm looking for any advice or even theories or explanations. I'm 20 years old now. I'm a girl and I live in Arizona. My parents have been divorced since I was 10. I suffered through depression in high school, but other than that, there's no history in either parts of my family of any mental illness such as schizophrenia. I also went to a counselor, and after all this, they ruled out that I have no mental illness. I won't mention names because they're not really important. For as long as I can remember, I've always seen, heard, and felt things of the paranormal. As young as 5, I can remember never wanting to be in my room. I would stand in front of my room and take a deep breath in and out. I'd run in as fast as I could to grab toys and then run back out, feeling my heart race and being generally afraid. As I got older, I could walk into a house and either feel a dark, heavy, almost evil type of feeling, or I would just feel nothing at all but calmness. I've had my fair share of experiences and learned to accept that I am just more sensitive than most people that are more closed-minded. Yay me, right? About a week and a half before Halloween of 2016, my boyfriend didn't have a car for a while, so I used to give him rides to work at like 4 a.m. I had to wake up at 3:30 to sneak out of my window that leads to the driveway. Yes, I had to sneak out like a teenager because the alarm we have is so loud, and it sounds every time someone opens or closes the door and would wake up my parents. Well, one morning I snuck out a little too quick, I think, and so I didn't want to wait in front of the house for a long time looking like a creeper. So I had some time to kill in my car. Now, my driver's side window was broken at the time. It was stuck being rolled all the way down, which didn't bother me since it wasn't cold much at all. So I'm sitting there messing with my phone when I heard what sounded like a woman screaming. And I'm telling you, this scream had to have been around the corner without a doubt. But as I heard the scream again, it sounded creepily like the first scream. Like, exactly the same. Almost like someone recorded someone screaming and played it over and over again. This went on for a good minute. Over and over again, echoing, 1 second apart. My face, I could feel, went pale, and my heart dropped to the point where my heart was pounding, but very slowly and gradually with every scream. I told myself, okay, think fast. What if someone is in trouble? So I turned my car on and I raced around the dead neighborhood that really isn't alive until around 6. I saw no one. Not even a car rolling by or even on the main streets, to tell you the truth. With how fast I drove around, there's no way I would have missed a car if she was kidnapped, or not have seen a woman running and screaming. After I decided to drive a little further into a different part of my neighborhood, I still saw nothing. I took a deep breath and I realized that I should just leave. I showed up at my boyfriend's house, told him I was there, and with my luck, he had accidentally slept in and was still getting ready, and he couldn't seem to find his keys for work. So I turned my car off once again and sat there just trying to forget what had happened. Then I hear it again. No way. There is no freaking way. He lives 15 minutes away from my house, nowhere near the vicinity of my neighborhood. But it was louder this time, echoing and much quicker, more like half a second apart now. I was shaking and looking out, trying to debunk it in my head. A cat in heat? No way, this is a woman's voice and it's not a shrieking type of noise. And how could the same cat be in the same neighborhood I was in now? A recording maybe? No way. Who would have a recording of a woman screaming at 3 a.m.? Especially again in the same neighborhoods I was in that is nowhere near my neighborhood. An entire 5 minutes went by with this screaming. I texted my boyfriend to please hurry up. 1 minute later, it stopped. Then my boyfriend walks out the front door. I was quiet for a while in the car. Are you okay? You haven't even said good morning in your cheerful voice like you always do. Are you messing with me now? What? What are you talking about? See? Was it a recording? I seriously have no idea what you're talking about. If you're upset with me for taking so long, I'm sorry. Once you told me to hurry, I found the keys and I threw on my jacket. You were looking for your keys the entire time. No one else was up. No, everyone's passed out. What's going on? I told him everything, and of course he joked around a little. I told him to please be serious. Okay, serious note. I have no idea what that could have been. Maybe you're just really tired and hearing things. But that has never even happened to me before. I'm not even tired. I'm used to waking up early now. I don't know, babe. Then that's when we pulled up to his work, said our goodbyes, and I was left driving back to my house with all of this stuck in my head. After maybe a couple of days, I just kinda tried forgetting about it because I can't be scared forever, right? So I wake up one morning again to take my boyfriend to work, and as I'm sitting there with my fingers on the car about to turn it on, I gazed at my window, which was visible from my car, and I see my curtain, and what looked like someone pulling it to the right as if they were looking out at me. I froze. My heart dropped and it was almost like my ears blocked the sound of the morning breeze. Is my window open? No, I see it. It's closed. My mom caught me sneaking out. Being more fearful of my mother when she's mad, I got even more scared, to tell you the truth. I sat there just waiting for her to burst out the window yelling at me or opening the door to scold me, which she does when I get caught doing something she doesn't like. It never happened though. I thought, that's weird. I sat back waiting a little longer and then it did it again. At this point I was almost too scared to pull out of the driveway fast. As I started driving up the street, almost approaching the stop sign leading out of my neighborhood, I was in the middle of texting my boyfriend that I was on the way, and then I hear it again. The exact same scream. This time I floored it. I'm not even stopping at the sign and hopping on the main road. I quickly called my boyfriend and he tried hard to make sense of my fearful jumbled up words, and I said, "Unlock your front door. I'm not waiting in the car. I'll tell you what has happened when you get ready." I pulled up and turned off my car, making as much noise as I could so that we would not hear the screaming as it started again. I ran in and I told him everything. He went pale. He knew that this wasn't a joke anymore. He suggested it might be a demon that was trying to get my attention and possibly trying to say, "Hey, I'm watching you." I've always been a Christian, just more on the reform side. I thought I had more of a protected soul. Obviously I was wrong. Later that day I had spent some time at his house. My boyfriend, his mother, and I agreed that it was just best not to talk about it, that it could only make things worse being scared of it and even acknowledging it, that it feeds on fear. I had come home that night on the phone with my boyfriend because I hate walking up to my front door because the side of the house goes inward, and I've always been scared that someone is hiding in there at night, waiting to take me. Anyways, when I finally got to my room, I saw my curtain lying on the floor. What the heck? And where the tack was that was holding it up looked shredded, like it was pulled off multiple times in different parts of the corner. Ask your parents. Now. I asked my mom and stepdad while he was on the phone, and he even heard himself. No. He's been passed out since he got home from work because of his medication. Neither of us have a motive to go into your room and pull down your curtain. Seriously? She had actually gotten annoyed and mad that I'd even asked. I went back to my room now. Babe, I don't know who did this. On the same night I saw it being pulled back. Don't talk about it. He changed the subject to his work and I kind of forgot about it too. I had no choice. I was too scared to talk about it. In the middle of the night that night, I woke up to a loud shh. I shot up and said, "God is my heart. You do not belong here." It got deathly quiet. Almost way too quiet. I laid back down and I couldn't go back to sleep. From then on I had too many experiences to count, but more subtle this time. Until I was then told by my boyfriend. Since things kinda died down, I need to tell you that I once heard a woman screaming outside before. But me being obnoxious and annoyed with how long I heard her screaming, I screamed 10 times louder and it stopped. Great, I'm not crazy. But it wasn't over. It was maybe sometime after Thanksgiving. I was hanging out at his house during the day and it was just the two of us. We had been done eating and I was so annoyed knowing how much laundry he had to do, as me being a clean freak. I told him, "I'll separate your clothes for you as long as you do the rest." "Okay, I'm gonna finish this movie and I'll join you." I walked upstairs to his room. His door is pretty much in the front of the stairs off to the right. And when you're looking out of his room, there's a hallway with all the other rooms. Well, during Thanksgiving, he had to sleep in his computer room at the end of the hallway because of his grandparents taking over his room for Thanksgiving. I opened back up his door, took one step out, and I froze. I felt this heavy, dark feeling. I started tearing up and I just couldn't move. I then saw a tall, dark figure at the end of the hall. No, it wasn't my shadow because no lights were on behind me or next to me. I couldn't speak or scream, nothing. Finally, I was able to move my eyes to the left of the stairs that were right next to me. I was able to move again and I ran down the stairs saying to him, "I'm going outside for a cigarette." 2 minutes later, he joined me at my car. "You okay? Can I have one?" I kept my head down and handed him one. Yeah, I pulled up my face at him. Are you okay? I saw it at the end of the hallway. He kinda squatted down, kinda taking in what I said while he lit his cigarette. My mom had saw that before, actually. Maybe a couple of weeks after all that stuff happened to you. I got quiet because I think we were both kind of thinking the same thing. Whatever was in his house had gotten attached to me, and when I told it to go, it must have gone back to the house. But we didn't speak of it. To this day, I still feel heavy feelings every time I walk into my house and his. I know it's there. I can feel it in the middle of the night, feeling like there are eyes on me. A demon is following me, waiting for me.